Hello, my name is Tren. I'm a failed bodybuilder who's trying to teach himself boxing in virtual reality. In the first episode of this series, I mastered the jab after watching a YouTube video, training on the training dummy in Thrill of the Fight 2, and then fighting one opponent who beat me. Now, since I mastered the first fundamental of boxing, the jab, I thought I would move on to the next, which is footwork. However, since I am basically now a professional boxer, I thought I would skip the basic footwork and go straight into Soviet-style boxing, which is the pendulum step. Now, we know a few famous boxers like Triple G and Bivol, who most recently beat Beterbiev. So I'm going to watch a YouTube video or two, take the drills into Thrill of the Fight 2, practice on the dummy, before taking my newly mastered skill into a match with another real opponent. Let's do it. So this is some footage from me drilling the Soviet-style pendulum step in real life without the VR, without anything except me, myself, and my elite skills. As you can see, it looks like I've done this before. Perhaps somewhere down the line in my genetic line there was an elite boxer that was very famous. I did this for a while, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Oh, it was really about 2 minutes until I got really tired and had to take a break. Now, this is some footage of me practicing Soviet-style boxing, first in VR, just in the training dummy. Thrill of the Fight 2 has a training dummy, as you can see, where he stands there and he doesn't punch you back. So it's a really, really realistic training simulation. As you can see, I practice this little bounce forward and back, forward and back. You're supposed to actually punch on the way in and on the way out as well, but I seem to forget that. Sometimes I throw a punch here and there. Sometimes I move in, sometimes I move out. Kind of struggling to do them all together. There you go. I do one punch, one jab there on the way in, one hook on the way out. Starting to pick it up. Now I forget how to punch again. Oh, I remember. As you can see, the walls still exist in VR, even if you're in the headset. So you are limited by your training space. Anyway, I do continue this for about 5 more minutes until I empty my gas tank. Now, this is a match between me and Sib from Aussie VR Boxing. He's a really good boxer. He's actually an Olympic medalist, technically, because he beat Tony Jeffries in Thrill of the Fight 2. If you haven't seen that, check it out on my YouTube channel. He definitely is a pro Olympic boxer. Anyway, the focus of this fight for me was to practice and build that muscle memory of the Soviet-style boxing, the pendulum step as they call it. You can see here I have a lot of moving in and moving out, which is not normal for me. I'm used to just sort of holding W, spamming hooks in close range to the body, to the head. But obviously I'm here to improve my game, expand my arsenal, and here we are, practicing the Soviet-style boxing. I'm going in, I'm going out. I'm liking this watching back, to be honest. I'm keeping my right hand close to my head. Could be a bit higher, although I did watch a few YouTube videos and Bivol was always keeping that right hand pretty much glued to his face, like he's on the phone. And so I'm obviously trying to copy the master himself and keep that right hand up, which I'm not doing a bad job of. Now I'll put some Mike Tyson head movement in and I get stunned. It's not very effective. What can you do? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I step in here, step out. I usually get spammed pretty hard by Sib. But the Soviet-style boxing, the backwards movement does help. It would have helped if we had a bigger room scale, bigger play space. But you got to do what you got to do with what you got, right? So my bounce is still here in this first round. You can see, that was that little leaping lead hook I tried there twice in a row. I'll start to spam it a little bit. I also saw Bivol do that on a YouTube video, so obviously I'm trying to be like him. And even Sib tries to copy it there. I like it. And I throw another one there. I don't think you're supposed to launch it so telegraphed from long range, but you know, you live and you learn. That's the end of the first round. We start the second round here. 3 more minutes of hell with Sib. I'm still trying to get the bounce, a little bounce forward and back, but obviously it looks like I'm forgetting a little bit. Somehow in the 15 or 20 minutes that I practiced it tonight, I apparently didn't master it completely. It also is really, really hard on your calves, I noticed, especially my rear calf. The YouTube video that I watched said to keep 60% of your weight on your rear leg and about 40% on the front leg. And all the forward movement is initiated with the rear leg pushing off the balls of your feet. You're supposed to stay on the balls of your feet the whole time, as it helps your explosiveness, helps you bounce forward and backwards and side to side by being on the balls of your feet. Unfortunately, the downside of being on the balls of your feet and for the whole fight and bouncing up and down is that your calves really, really get tired. And I personally have really underdeveloped calves. My whole failed bodybuilding career, I had a few injuries on my feet, which happened actually while I was training calf raises, weighted calf raises. And since I injured them back then, I just neglected them for the rest of my life. And here we are with really small, underdeveloped, disproportional calves, which is really not helping me in this Soviet-style boxing. But perhaps this video and this series will help me develop these calves and maybe other weaknesses that I have. Just watching myself here, it looks like my bounce is almost completely gone. I'm reverting a little bit to my stand there, get punched in the face a lot style of boxing. Not sure what the technical term is for that. I will probably think of one that doesn't involve some curse words. As you can see, I bounce for like a couple bounces, and then I just start standing there because I'm too fucking tired and my calves are dead. It looks like I'm slower and more tired. I get knocked down there. I see that was a good one too. I get up really quickly though because I'm really, really strong and healthy. It looks like I'm slow. It may look like I'm slow, but that's just because I'm in direct contrast with Sib, who I'm pretty sure is on EPO and a various concoction of stamina steroids. He doesn't seem to get tired in any of the AVB matches. And that's the end of the second round. Now going into the third round here, I will admit that I did record myself in this match in real life, and the intention was to obviously play the real life footage alongside the spectator mode footage. Unfortunately, I recorded that footage in 24 frames per second and this video is in 60, so they really didn't play well with each other when I tried to produce it. The next video, the next episode, will come back with the IRL footage for the match. For now, you're just going to have to watch Sib beat the shit out of me just in the spectator mode. I'm sorry about that. And as you can see, he really is beating the shit out of me. Deep into this match in the third round, I'm really starting to feel it. I have a massive stitch. Look at me, I'm even holding it there in real life. There was a lot of pain in my abdomen. It seems like Soviet style boxing is incredibly taxing on the body, on the cardiovascular system as well. Bouncing up and down and forward and back non-stop on every single bounce is really hard, it turns out. It's not easy just to keep doing it. And now I just start standing there. Oh, I bounce once or twice. Oh, I'm bouncing. I'll probably throw one punch and then I'm just going to stand there. Yep. I was really, really feeling it at this point. I could barely throw punches. Even though Sib is still throwing about 44 punches a second, I'm just staying there trying to survive. And the fight pretty much continues like this all the way until the end. I think he gets another knockdown by the top of my head, if I remember correctly. I have one little burst of energy right at the end to try and get a knockdown, but he doesn't pan out. And I get knocked down again. So it seems that I may not have mastered the pendulum step just yet. I may have at least another day or two of practice before I can say I've truly mastered the Soviet style boxing. Making this video, I think what's most obvious to me is not that my technique that needs improvement or the type of boxing that I'm doing, is I just need to be able to survive more than 2 minutes in the boxing match. My gas tank is incredibly low, my cardio is incredibly bad, and it seems that the next episode on Failed Bodybuilder Learns Boxing in VR, it may just be episode 3, Learning to Breathe and Survive more than 3 minutes in a match. Is that a fundamental? I think that's a fundamental. I wanted to start with the fundamentals, so I think that's on par. Don't really know how I'm going to make a video on me just trying to improve my cardio, but I'm sure we'll think of something. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. That was the second episode of this series. We'll be back next week with a new one. I'll see you then.